So when you need an item and you don't have, didn't have time to collect all your shells, or you didn't have time to pick the flowers that the tribe that you're friendly with, that lives 100 miles away or 200 miles away, didn't have time to do it, but you really must have it. That is when kind of like a credit system was established. So they used to use stones and bones to keep a record of, who owed what, or and then to keep a record of who we did business with, so you could, if more than one person came in to that trading village or to the trade route, they would know, okay, well, we've worked with X tribe before and they were great, and we worked with Y tribe before and they were great, and we worked with the Z tribe before and they they only gave us 85 of those shells. They didn't really give us 100. So there needed to be a way of record keeping. So they would get rocks and stones, and that's how they started record keeping. They would find something that would make a mark, right? So hang on, I can't hold my phone. I'm not doing anything fancy because I don't think it's necessary. So it would say, okay, we've done 3 transactions. I just found this. I'm gonna assume it's a piece of wood that's been like on fire or something. We've done 3 transactions with X tribe and X tribe, and it worked out well. Okay, or maybe another tribe uses rock. Let's see if this will work, guys. And so they would it's hard to see, right? Because I'm not using the most effective way to there we go. And so they would make these marks in these rocks, and so they would work on it and work on it and work on it, so it's really, really deep and won't just like smudge off and like erase the debt. They would carve it and instill it, or they would, because the bone is softer, then you could take a rock and make a little note, a little like tick mark in it, which is where you get like the limnium bone. And I probably said that wrong. I'm too American for my own good. And you get these records on like these cave walls of things that happened and that aren't just art or aren't just records of events. Okay. And so different cultures valued different things, and eventually, because we wanted to share, like, oh, you have wheat and we're low, or this area has this kind of animal and it is delicious and has more protein, or the skin on it and the fur on it would be better for us and would keep us warm, or the hide on it is better for our housing, right? And so you had to learn to trade to get what you wanted, and then you had to learn to sometimes compromise and come to a compromise, and sometimes you had to learn to let things slide because one tribe maybe, was much more forceful and much more demanding than another tribe who placed value in peace and calm and like understanding each other and community, whereas like the other one may place value on having like a single leader or a like a group set of leaders, and them and their culture and their religion and belief set believed that to get what you needed to survive, you used fear and you used tactics and you kind of hid your intentions. And so it was hard for the tribes and the cultures to truly get along with ones that were quote unquote less peaceful, and to understand them, especially when they didn't even speak the same language. So they had to come up with basically a numerical system. But what happens when you've got, okay, I need, these shells, and you have another set of those shells, and they weigh differently. They're not the same weight.